Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of the five-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guesman. Joining me tonight, our very special co-host, Mr. Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. We're glad to have him, and we have a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. The LA Galaxy currently getting ready to kick off as we're doing the live show against Fresno up in Santa Barbara. There's some weird lineups that I'm sure we're going to talk about and how that will affect the Saturday game against the San Jose Earthquakes as well. We have some other stuff to talk about, including injuries, a little NWSL talk, which almost never happens, but we have an update on that. Season ticket holder numbers as well. And then, of course, anything else we can sort of talk about, including where are the Galaxy the weakest at? We have a lot of discussion to go on there. You're always welcome to join us. If you want to, go ahead and call in. The live number is usually hanging around the screen somewhere, so whenever you see that, feel free to give us a call and give us your opinion. All right. I think that does it for a little bit of the intro. Just 17 days now. 17 days until the LA Galaxy will face off against the Portland Timbers at StubHub Center. A guy who is making his return here to Corner of the Galaxy Studios on our live show, though, for the second time now. We're glad to have him back. Let's talk a little bit to Eric. Eric, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to get my second chance at some first-team minutes here.
That's right. It's preseason still.
Preseason, so trying to work my way into the starting lineup, prove myself as a trialist here.
I like that. I like that. The Galaxy, very busy, as we said. There's lots of stuff. Let's see. There's lots of stuff going on in terms of, the Galaxy, their lineup, and all these other things that are sort of going on. So this is going to be sort of a tricky thing to sort of either predict or even talk about what's going to be happening in these next couple of games that are going on.
Especially with competing with the game going on tonight in Fresno. And seeing that lineup that came out. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be playing a lot of guessing games. Should be fun.
Let's start with that game in Fresno. It's happening as we're doing the live show, so I should tell you that. In fact, they're supposed to kick off now here in about 28 minutes or so as we're rocking and rolling here. So we won't have finals for you. We won't have any of that stuff. We probably won't even get into a halftime switch whenever it all goes over. But nonetheless, we're going to give you, the information that we have right now. So the LA Galaxy came out with a lineup. Sigi Schmid had talked earlier in the week about how the Galaxy are looking to play some younger players, and possibly that means, time and sort of possibly save those starters for Saturday. So what he does is throw a curveball into everybody's stuff, and he mixes and matches in this, Eric. Here is the lineup as we understand it right now. You have Silvestri in goal. You have Clementa at right back. Ciani and Hilliard Arce are going to be your two center backs. On the left is going to be Dave Romney. You got Servando Carrasco and Jonathan Dos Santos probably playing in the center. There's no formation here, so we're
just
not
dealing with two lines of text here. Yeah.
That's right. So we're trying to figure these all out. I'm guessing that either Husidic or Leggett will be on either of the outsides. Badgio Husidic possibly playing the right back role. Leggett possibly playing the left back role. Giovani Dos Santos looks like he'll probably be up top, and the fact that Jonathan Dos Santos and Giovani Dos Santos are playing in this lineup is the interesting part, that it doesn't really match. It's like some of these things don't belong here.
Yeah.
And then Chris Pontius up top, we imagine now. So that is the starting lineup for the Galaxy.
Speculation.
Yeah, it is pure speculation. And, being there's no stream for the game, we're not really going to have any idea of how these guys play or how all this goes,
I think, the big question mark definitely is the Dos Santos brothers. Why are they in this lineup, especially when you were hearing that this was going to be a younger squad, it was going to be second team. So it makes you think, what are they thinking? What's going on in Siggy's mind? To be in Siggy's mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that I think maybe we can guess at. Maybe this is the team that won't be playing as starters whenever Jonathan Dos Santos and Giovani Dos Santos are away in the World Cup with Mexico. So them being on quote unquote the second team makes some sense. Maybe, yeah. That's
the only thing I could think of, is that you would want to. There's two things that I think are a possibility here. One would be that if you are putting all your eggs in the Dos Santos basket, and these players who are in this lineup are second team players, are going to be coming off the bench, eventually when they do come off the bench, they are going to need to have some relationship with Gio and Jonah. So getting them time with Gio and Jonah to build a little bit of chemistry. That could be part of the thinking, is getting them some continuity there. And then the second thing could be, like you said, Gio and Jonah are going to be gone at a World Cup, presumably. So maybe on Saturday they want to see what their starting lineup looks without those two in it. Again, why do it in March? But speculation. That's what we do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the only guess that we sort of have right now. Because otherwise, if you remove Jonathan Dos Santos and Giovani Dos Santos, this is technically the second team. Mm-hmm. The fact that Siani has maybe flip-flopped back to the second team now, that's a speculation as well. But let's see, Steres started, then Siani started the game, and now it looks like Siani is starting for a second team that just includes Giovani Dos Santos and Jonathan Dos Santos.
They're keeping us on our toes with that move.
Let's see. I'm trying to. This is the second half team outside of Jonathan Dos Santos and Giovani Dos Santos. So, from the win over New York City, it still feels second teamy. So it's just a matter of who's going to fit into those spots whenever you look at the starting lineup for Saturday's game. Whenever we eventually get to that, but. This strikes me as weird, and this is why it's really weird in my case. You had Sigi talking about how he wanted to get these guys playing together. There's so many new pieces. You're doing all these things in terms of bringing in all these players, and you wanted to get them as much time playing together as possible. If they only go 45 minutes, maybe there's still a chance they go 45 minutes again on Saturday, which seems, again, a weird training regimen thing to set up. It doesn't, in my mind, it's defeating some purpose here. I know you and I had discussed this beforehand. Maybe it's a World Cup thing, but it doesn't feel like that should be a priority right now.
And to argue against myself, which is one of my best traits, is arguing against myself. With this, again, you want to experiment and see what your starting lineup looks like without the Dos Santos brothers, but at the same time, the season is going to start, like you said, in 17 days. You could smell it. You want these guys having as much chemistry. You want them coming in hot. You want them on that opening game, the chemistry to be there. So to break that up now and on one day's rest, I don't know that they're going to see a lot of time on Saturday if he's going to play them big minutes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, even if they go more than like 30 minutes, it's almost like, why would you start them up and then shut them down again?
With only one day's rest, yep.
Anyway, so that game is going on up in Santa Barbara. Again, no stream. If we get any updates from stuff as it kicks off. There's also, I can try to look up the bench, which included almost everybody, and included also some
surprises.
Some surprises as well. Do you have that in front of you, the bench?
I do.
Why don't you tell everybody?
On the bench, we have David Bingham, Perry Kitchen, Ashley Cole, Daniel Steres, Roman Alessandrini, Ola Kamara, Ariel Lassiter, Jorgen Schvelnick, Julian Buscher, Emmanuel Boateng, Rolf Felcher, Cordell Cato, Nathan Schultz, Justin Vom Stieg, Ethan Zubak, Ulysses Lianez, Alex Mendez, and João Pedro.
Yeah, okay. So there's
surprises.
The surprises there are the two trialists that they have on there that were not currently listed as trialists before. So Cordell Cato is some of the guys. I have to imagine it rings some people's bells because this is a former, I think, San Jose Earthquakes.
San Jose Earthquakes player. So when we saw that on there, we thought this name sounds familiar. We've seen this before, and he did play with the Earthquakes from 2013 to 2017. 111 appearances, 7 goals. Again, not a great goal-scoring record, but at the same time, someone who saw regular MLS minutes. So maybe if depth is an issue at striker or in the midfield, maybe this is a spark that you bring in. He's still 25 years old, so maybe he could see some first-team minutes, or at least maybe get on the squad.
Yeah, I mean, and this is going to go, I think, to our future conversation where we talk about weaknesses for the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I'm working ahead. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it was perfect. We'll segue into that a little later, but just looking at the weak spots and where the depth issues are and all those things. So, again, 2 trialists. Sigi still bringing guys in, giving some time to maybe make an impression. This is, I haven't even seen, technically in all the games we've seen, there have been no trialists who actually took the field. So we're not seeing any of that. Maybe it's just training stuff. Who knows how that all goes. But yeah, it is interesting. Again, Dominic Kinnear possibly going into that San Jose Earthquake bag.
That's definitely where this addition came from. There's no doubt in my mind that that's the connection.
Which is kind of, again, I always thought that was good. You have 2 guys who have played, Sigi Schmid and Dominic Kinnear, who have coached all over the league and at different teams and know everybody, I have to imagine.
Yeah, and if this guy was a complete bum in San Jose, Dom Kinnear's not going to
waste his time.
Not even invite him for the trial. So I would imagine he knows that, he can contribute on some degree. How many roster spots are available? Do you know?
Technically speaking, right now they have 24 filled, and that doesn't count for any of the draft picks who are technically not signed.
Okay.
So even Hilliard Arce, who signed a Generation Adidas contract, which basically means he has a contract with the league, isn't technically added to the roster, and I check all the time.
Okay.
All right. So
there's a little bit of space. For some of these guys.
Yeah, there is. You would think that there's not going to be too much room there. Technically, it's roster spots 1 through 20 hit the salary cap. 21 through 28 are the reserve team, I think. Or actually, there's even 2 designations inside of that range. And then 29 and 30 are reserved for homegrown players. So that's what max of 30. Nice. I think minimum of 24 is how it's supposed to work. The Galaxy do have both of their homegrown. They do have 2 homegrown players who can fill 29 and 30.
Perfect.
So that still makes some sense in there. So that's what we have from Fresno right now. Going up against Fresno FC, who's a USL team, I will say, somebody said, what does this game mean? I would say it doesn't mean a whole bunch, except that LA Galaxy 2 lost to Fresno FC by like a whole ton of goals. I think it was like
it's a technical term, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it was like 8 or 9, if I remember correctly, and it's the same team off the top of my head. Yeah. So I think there's one guy who probably played on that LA Galaxy 2 team who.
And then isn't there a former LA Galaxy player who's playing on Fresno?
Yeah.
Covarrubias, right?
Yeah. Who I really liked with LA Galaxy too. Yeah, that was a good pull. So he plays for them. A USL team, the Galaxy still have, if you look at the lineup they have on there, they have more than enough talent to win this game rather handily. So not so much a focus. This game was going to be a throwaway. We weren't even going to talk about it that much, and then you saw the starting lineup come out, and it was surprising.
Full speculation mode.
Trying to predict these things is a losing battle almost every single time. It's fun to see how these teams are, and granted, we're not going to see this game at all. We might see some highlights later on, so that's about everything that you can hope for to see how people played and how things go. So.
It's a practice, and I think that's how you need to look at this. You need warm bodies to play against. Why not play against a USL side who's going to be hungry? They're going to give the Galaxy a good game because they're going to be trying to impress the MLS side. So I think that it's good to play teams like this in the preseason and build up, because you're going to get a team who's hungry and want to play well against the Galaxy, and the Galaxy is going to get. They're going to get their full scrimmage, their good practice in.
Well, the other part of this is, why does Sigi schedule 2 games, back
Thursday
to back
to
like
Saturday,
that? And it is because you need to get guys minutes now that you're going to start running guys into the 65, 70, 80, 90 minutes now. So there's not game minutes for everybody available anymore.
We're not doing 30, 30, 30.
Yeah. It starts to get tight for the guys on the second team, which basically, again, we're going to call this the second team with the additions of Jonathan and Gio.
Or depending on your feelings on the Dos Santos brothers, this could be the real second team.
The real second team, exactly. But you call this. These guys are going to have a tough time getting minutes now from here on out, because the Galaxy play this Fresno game on Thursday. They play San Jose at the Great Park in Orange County on Saturday, and then the following Saturday, I think it's the 24th, they will host the Vancouver Whitecaps, and that's it. For the preseason.
Game on.
It's real games from then on out. So, and you would imagine that Vancouver game is a full-on mock-up for the next week.
Yeah, I would imagine they'd want to ramp down after that game. That'll be the final test. We'll see. See where they're at.
Everybody rests up a little bit. The training starts to actually peter out a little bit. This is sort of peak training right here that we're watching right now for the Galaxy, and all the drills they're doing and all that stuff. So this should be it. They've reached the mountaintop this weekend in terms of preseason preparation. It'll be a little bit smoother, and then they'll ramp back up, just like a regular game for that next Saturday is my guess. And then it's, like you said, then it's real games after that. Portland Timbers come into StubHub Center on March 4th. So, that's where we sit with Fresno. Now, we look at the game coming up on Saturday against the San Jose Earthquakes. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff time at the Orange County Great Park. Expecting what looks like 5,000 people, which is max capacity.
Yeah, it should be fun. A fun, intimate atmosphere at the Great Park.
The tickets are not and have never been on sale to the public. These were all given out to season ticket holders, and I heard that San Jose whined enough that they're getting 100 tickets as well for their supporters.
That's kind of what they do, right? They whine. That's their
no
specialty.
comment. Yes, that's exactly what they do. Oh, I made a comment anyway. So so this is the part, this is that next part. So now you look at who the first team is going to be and how this all ends up playing out. This game ends up being a little more important for the Galaxy. One, because it's against San Jose, so you have a Cali Classico. Two, because David Bingham certainly feels wronged by the San Jose Earthquakes, so you can expect that he's going to have a little chip on his shoulder. And then three is that this is going to be one of those times where the guys are trying to stretch their fitness, and this is the first stretch. Real big stretch of the fitness, and I think you're going to see some guys play 90. Maybe some of the defenders will play 90. David Bingham should play 90 minutes, that type of thing. But this is getting prepared for a real game now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the Dos Santos conspiracy theory here. So maybe because it is a rivalry game, maybe they're saving these guys. They're thinking that if San Jose takes this game seriously because they don't know how to turn the off button, that you protect your Dos Santos brothers by not putting them in on Saturday. I don't know. I have my tinfoil hat on right now. If you're on the line, if you're on the live stream, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is that feeling though. I mean, it is a surprise. It's enough of a surprise where you and I were sitting here getting ready, and we're like, oh, we got this, and then the lineup comes out, and we go, what?
No, we don't got this.
Yeah, we don't understand anything that's going on right now. By the way, I want to make a correction. I screwed up again, which is
Are we recording?
Yeah, no, yeah, I hit the record button. Diego came in the chat room and said that G2 lost that 9-0 game to Reno and not Fresno. Yeah. They're both like flyover places that I wouldn't,
I'm going to reserve comment from that one as well.
So anyway, so that is how it is. So it was Reno that the Galaxy lost 9-0. Fresno is a new team and can't be.
But rumor has it is that Sigi told the Galaxy that it was actually Fresno to get them fired up for this game.
That's right.
Yeah, we had insider information.
Mind games.
So technically, we're correct.
We're still right. That's how it works. That's how it is. All right. So that's sort of so again. The Saturday game coming up is going to be totally different now, but you still expect and listen, they played these preseason
get your starters, yeah.
You should still get your starters, but they played these preseason Cali Classicos before. They should everybody expects them, I think, to be more rivalry game than they are. Now there still could be tempers flared, right? You could
These
still
guys they all know each other. Yeah, so of course it's gonna get there.
They already don't like each other to begin with, so there's already some of that. But again, it's still a preseason game, so the ultimate goal here is fitness, and so we'll see how that goes with that. All right. We can talk about that game more if it comes in and out, but some of the stuff that I wanted to get to for sure before we get to some of the weaknesses the LA Galaxy have on this 2018 team is some of the notebook stuff. So let's start with injuries. The LA Galaxy currently have 2 injuries. One of them looks like it's coming back, so we can almost check it off the box. But people were asking where Ari Lassiter and Bradford Jamison IV were in the last couple games. We haven't seen them play, I don't think, this preseason. So, trying to get information and trying to figure that out. Ari Lassiter had a leg or ankle injury. He's back to full training and he's on the bench tonight.
Yeah, they're listing him on the bench, yeah.
He very well could get some minutes here at the end of the game, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. So Ari Lassiter is back. Now, the big deal here is that both of those guys are backups in the same position, being that second striker, the third string striker in that line. So Ola Kamara and then probably one of these guys, unless you want to start moving things around. And even if you move some things around, you still may end up getting to one of those guys on the field. Yeah. So our second injury, though, seems to be a little bit bigger, and we don't have an exact injury cause for this right now. Bradford Jamison is out. He has not trained or participated in training with the team since before they went to Tucson.
Okay.
So that's a significant amount of time.
Yeah. And especially given last season, the Galaxy cut bait with essentially their entire team, but the one player that Sigi seemed to really latch onto was Bradford Jamison. So I was looking forward to seeing him. So the fact that he hasn't been present and not hearing about an injury before this, you definitely were asking where is Bradford, because he seemed to have made it his mark enough to impress Sigi last season, so we're looking for him this preseason.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were looking for him this preseason. He was sort of that one youngster that you could hang your hat on and say, okay, look, the Galaxy still has something.
Still promise there.
There's still promise. So he has not been training. He has not been participating. I don't know that he traveled up to Santa Barbara with the team. Apparently, he did travel up out to Tucson with the team, even though he didn't train with them.
Team bonding.
Yeah, team bonding. So he was still there. The kid has had a long history of injuries down at LA Galaxy too, and even up with LA Galaxy with concussions, and so you hope it's not that again.
Yeah, that's scary. If
Yeah,
especially when those build up, the accumulation.
It's too many, and so obviously, we wish him the best. More than even as a reporter, I don't want to see guys get injured and not play. So it would be great if Bradford get back there. The Galaxy need him though.
Yeah, I'm one who, I just finished saying this, but I was looking forward to see him be part of this lineup, especially with it seems like we're a one-trick pony with Kamara up top, that you need your Bradford Jamesons, your Ari Lassiters to step up in that depth role. So I for one, I'm hoping for the best that we can get him to see some first team action this season.
Yeah, it should be important. So let's see if he can get back there again. We're so like already tipping off our weakness stuff. It's funny because we were talking about it beforehand. That's what happens anytime you discuss things.
That just means we're good podcasters. We prepped.
We prepped and it's linked through the whole show, right? It's a tease. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. That's how it goes. Maybe a little bit NWSL news. Maybe just not really. It's not really news, but it's something.
Tonight is the night of speculation. Maybe not really, is it?
Yeah.
It's one of those nights.
Yeah, it feels like that. All right, it certainly feels like that. The NWSL may be coming to LA. Now, we've heard talks of LAFC possibly putting in an NWSL. This is National Women's Soccer League. For all those who don't know the acronym, I apologize. The NWSL, we've heard of LAFC, but the question has always been whether the LA Galaxy would get in on that. Had some conversations with some people, did some things.
It's got the scoop, guys.
Got the
scoop.
I would say here's what I've always been told. No. Okay, so the fact that I didn't get told no, that's movement. People are thinking about it. Certainly with the addition of the Girls Academy, which is huge for the LA Galaxy and for the community around. I think there's 40 girls who are in this.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, 40 girls, fully funded. This means they're not paying for anything. Education and soccer, I mean, that's awesome across a whole bunch of different age levels. My only complaint has been, what are you doing with
Where
them?
are they going?
Where are they going?
It's the bridge to nowhere.
It feels like it. And granted, I said at one point, I think I said, is that this feels like a PR stunt. Right? Okay. Because it's like, hey, they're not going anywhere, so why are you doing it? It's a drain on the economics of the Galaxy, certainly. For a team that maybe last year was like, hey, we're spending too much money. Yeah. You're like, hey, you're spending a whole bunch of money on an academy.
Maybe this is a tax write-off.
Yeah, it could be, right? I would say that it's not a PR stunt. I would call it a community service as of right now, which is better, certainly
it's a
better.
Nicer way to spin it.
I am totally. Some people took the fact that I said it was a PR stunt to mean that like I wasn't for a girls. I'm totally for a girls academy. I just wanted to see it go somewhere.
It doesn't matter how whether you call it a publicity stunt, a PR move, a charity movement, whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is you are getting 40 girls who are involved with the LA Galaxy organization, and they're getting their education, they're getting their games. I saw them; they had a signing day where these girls are going to college, signing with teams.
Yeah.
So it's really a great thing. But like you said, with no W in it. Now I'm just making names up. There's been like 4 different leagues, to be fair. Cut me a little bit.
WPS, right? Exactly. Women's Professional. Wait, no, WPL? No, I don't remember.
We'll Google it.
Women's Soccer League. WSL. That's what it was.
I think it was WPSL, Women's Professional Soccer League. Not pumpkin spice latte.
People are just like turning them off the button.
They're throwing stuff at their YouTube stream right now. But again, the question, and it's been discussed on end, with no team, then why fund this academy? So maybe this is, you're not hearing no anymore. Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You think if these are young girls who you're developing, maybe the end goal is at some point.
It's certainly a huge financial commitment if you're going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Because AEG went in with Blue Star whenever they did the LA Soul. I remember going to those games. I enjoyed those games. With Marta. That's right. It was, and she was great, by the way. Seeing her in person was always fun. I loved when they did double headers with the Galaxy because you could just go early, you watch the women's game, and you'd stay for the men's game.
It's an easy fix.
Easy. And I always said if they would have done more of that, I think maybe they could have been more successful with that type of thing. Understood. Difficult to do sometimes. That's fine. But everybody always said economically it wouldn't make any sense to do it again in Los Angeles, and it didn't make any sense then to do it. Now, that's been a while since that got disbanded. Mm-hmm. So seeing that the NWSL is having some stability issues still, there's still some teams went away, one got moved. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's okay. I understand. It's growing pains. You have to figure it out. The women's soccer is not gigantic,
and they're still a young league too. Major League Soccer went through their bumps and bruises. Their Miami Fusions and Tampa Bay Mutinies and all those teams that have folded and come and gone. So it's not without precedent that leagues go through sessions like this.
Yeah. So when you get to all that, the fact that the Galaxy aren't saying no anymore, that means, okay, again, huge financial commitment if you're going to do it. But if they're going to do it, they have the academy.
Yeah.
That's
Announce it now. Say it now.
Yeah, right now. Just give me a call. You can say it on the show for sure. But yeah, so that's where we stand with NWSL. Again, not huge news, nothing major, that type of thing. So
you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah,
that's the status right now.
There's always a chance, that's for sure. All right, now we get to some season ticket numbers. Talking with some people again. I will preface this right off the bat by saying the LA Galaxy do not release their season ticket holder numbers. So trying to get this information is always like
top secret.
It's top secret, pulling nails, all sorts of things. Here's the deal: is that the Galaxy seem to be looking around 75 to 8,000 in terms of season ticket members in 2018. That's at least the information that I was given. Whether that's 100% accurate information, we'll have to like sort of suss it out and see where it all goes with that.
That number feels about right.
It does.
Yeah.
It has for a while. I mean, that's sort of where they've hovered and been and that type of thing. Now, could it have been as high as 9,500 in 2017? Maybe. Even that number feels high to me.
For last season, I think that'd be a stretch.
It feels that way. Granted, some people just stop going to games, so it's always tough to judge by just the attendance alone. Even during the David Beckham era, I should point out that season ticket numbers were not very high.
Yeah, it's interesting that you point that out too, because I look at that, it's almost an impressive feat by the Galaxy. The fact that with only 8,000 season ticket members, that you're still selling around 20,000 per game. You're getting a lot of people into games, and I'm one of those casuals, as you would say. I don't buy season tickets, but I'm good for 5 to 6 games a year, and those are the type of people who you're getting on a regular basis, which is it's a feather in the cap for the Galaxy. It's a good thing for them.
Yeah, it is. And so I always thought it was crazy because David Beckham time, it was, sellout was 27,000 people. So you figured that there's 8,000
on the berm,
8,000, and you're getting 19,000 walk-ups, or at least single game tickets plus walk-ups and all those things. I mean, that's impressive. So anyway, that's sort of where you stand right now. Now, I would expect that the numbers were down from last year. That's not
absolutely. No one would be shocked.
Worst season in MLS history, or for the Galaxy at least. Worst season in franchise history. So horrible. 8-18-8, 3 wins at home. Yeah, horrible season.
We've moved on, Josh. Yeah, we've moved on.
Nobody's moved on. Trust me. So you look at all those. So now you look at the season ticket holder numbers and where that. If you only lost like 500, if you only lost, it would make sense.
That's a win. That's almost a win, considering the season that they had last year. If they only lost 500 people, then that is a win, because the product that they put on the field and the disheartened fans that you saw, you would have thought that a lot more people would not renew or would flock to the guys across town. So if that's a minuscule amount that it dropped, then that's not too bad.
That's fine.
So they'll earn them back.
So the other thing is that, at one point there's a Sports Illustrated number, which is out. I'm telling you right now, that number's out in left field, about like 11,400 or something like that said that's what it was in 2017. It was never.
That's fake news, Josh.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it. That was never. So anyway, just look at those numbers and sort of see where they fit with what you think and everything. Now, everybody has anecdotal evidence, and trust me, I've seen it all.
Listen, my friend's cousin's brother told me he's not buying tickets.
He's not buying tickets.
Tickets got to be down by 3,000.
Somebody said, and this is true. I'm not blaming I'm not saying it's not true, but it's anecdotal. I can't quantify that, all right? Not everybody's on Twitter, so they can't all tell me. Somebody's like, oh, I didn't renew, and my 2 friends didn't renew, and that's a total of 17 tickets that didn't come. Okay. Yeah, I believe you.
Add it all up.
I don't know that there wasn't somebody who went out and bought 17 season ticket numbers. That's that totally true. Wipes it out. So you look at all those things and just differently, and certainly the Galaxy with what they did in the offseason have to be applauded, because they were spiraling down a drain, it felt like, and now all of a sudden it feels like this team is competitive and is going to be back in 2018, and that probably sold some tickets all by itself.
I would imagine, because I for one, again, not being a regular season ticket member, after last season, obviously I wasn't going to go out and buy season tickets now after last season, but I think there are people who maybe made that decision. I'm not buying season tickets, but then you see what the moves they made, and I could see people being swayed. Okay, you got me back, because at one point they obviously cared enough to be season ticket members. So I'm sure with the moves they made, they say, okay, the team seems to
This feels
have
right.
its head on its shoulders. They're making moves going in the right direction. I'm coming back.
You buy low, Eric.
Yeah.
You buy low, all right? That's not how
I should have signed up last year.
That's not how season ticket works at all. That's not how it works. They didn't get cheaper over the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
That would be great, by the way, is the better your team does, the more expensive it gets. And then the worse they do, the cheaper it gets. So by the end
Seems fair to me.
By the end of they're paying you to come to games, and that makes 100% sense. All right. So anyway, so that's it. Listen, we'll continue to update numbers and do the whole sorts of things and try to keep you updated on exactly where that all is if we get them. If we can get them confirmed, and if we can get them from people who want to tell us. So that's sort of where you sit with season ticket holders. So that was sort of the Galaxy Notebook I put up on the website. Go to cornerofthegalaxy.com where you can find that if you want, and you can read all the details that I put in there for all these things. All right.
Again, you're doing the Lord's work, Josh.
Compiling
all that information.
Yeah,
from the diehards.
I'm sure there's some people who don't think I'm doing the Lord's work. That's for sure. So anyway, so that's where we sit with the Galaxy. Now, again, game on Saturday. So that's going to tell us a whole bunch again about the Galaxy. Maybe not as much as we were hoping, though, with the lineup change. So we have that. But now let's go and pay attention to the Galaxy and where we think they're the weakest. Because here's the problem is the offseason was so good in terms of most Major League Soccer teams. I mean, there's a bunch of the analysts are saying the Galaxy probably had the best offseason. Granted, they had the most to build.
They needed to.
They needed to. LAFC probably needed like 3 more players than the Galaxy, but overall, it was the Galaxy having a really good offseason. Almost looked like an expansion team at some points with the amount of players that they needed to pick up and put together. But they put it together coherently this time. All the pieces look good, but there are still some areas here that should worry people. It's not all rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and pot of gold with little leprechauns and all sorts of things. That's
glitter.
Not, and glitter.
Yeah.
And rainbow sprinkled
There you
donuts. Yeah, there's not all those things are there. So where do you see the Galaxy? And you look across the entire formation. The starting lineup overall
I'm happy with the starting lineup as is. Yeah.
I think everybody is, right? Even though with Zlatan's I'm getting
everyone drink.
Yeah,
he said it.
I'm getting sick of the Zlatan stuff in case you guys couldn't tell as well. Pato and Zlatan may be very on equal bounds here.
Pato really is fake news. At least there's a little
something to the Zlatan. Yes, there is. But let's just do that update while we're talking about him. House hunting in Los Angeles, apparently.
Apparently, house hunting in Los Angeles. Again, I don't know what the sources are and what that means. They're, again, take it back. This is a running joke that we do over on the Guys in Shorts podcast that I co-host. Is LeBron's coming to the Lakers because he bought 2 houses in Los Angeles. So there's no other reason that other than he's coming to the Lakers. So it could very well be if what we know about Zlatan, he wants to get into Hollywood. He wants to be involved in the U.S. market at some point. So he could just be buying this house as a future move anyway. So it's not necessarily a link to the LA Galaxy, but it does make you think. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it certainly seems like. Again, none of this stuff means anything until it does. That's how I always have to.
Josh's blood is boiling. I could see it from the other side here.
He's looking for retirement stuff, right? Yeah. So if you're retiring, why wouldn't you want to retire in Los Angeles?
Yeah,
I want to retire in Los Angeles.
14 bedroom, 15 bath.
Bel Air mansion.
Yeah.
Get
it done with a pool and a zoo.
Yeah.
Lion's Den.
Apparently looking in Bel Air and Beverly Hills, by the way, in case you wanted to be neighbors with Zlatan.
I'm getting on Zillow right now. Going to see what I can get for my home.
That's exactly how it goes. That works for me. All right. So anyway, so that's the Zlatan thing. Now we go back to the weakest part. There's, again, the Galaxy did a really good job. We're happy with the starting lineups, but even in the starting lineup, there are question marks right now. Mm-hmm. I have to start with the defense. Okay, so you had the worst defense ever, basically, since the beginning of time for the LA Galaxy, gave up so many goals, and I think all of the people listening remember every single one of those goals as well. Gave up so many goals, it blows your mind about how many goals they gave up. So they go and they do a revamp. Kind of. I mean, there's a bit of a revamp. That you have Ashley Cole, who's returning. Cool. All right, great. And Ashley Cole, captain, by the way.
Yes, Captain Cole.
Captain Cole. Which sounds like a Star Trek character. Good. All right.
I think the Marvel Universe is releasing Captain Cole.
That works.
Phase 4.
That works. I like it. So Ashley Cole there. They bring in Shelvik. You have Steres and Ciani battling back and forth about who's that second center back spot right now, and I don't know who it is. Yeah. It seems like it's a pretty 50-50 battle right now. And then you have Rolf Felcher out on the right-hand side. So those are your starters that we know of right now. There's question marks all over the place in every single position there. So, I mean, where do you want to start? Which one of those guys?
I think the interesting thing about defensively, you could say that is the biggest question mark, but you could also say that's where they reinforce the most, because at the very least they threw bodies at it, and the backups that they have and the way they drafted with Javier Arce, they have Romney, they have it's. Last year, I think they were struggling to fill those roles. We saw Rafa Garcia filling in, in places. So I think now they at least have the bodies, and so that's the good news. But I think the biggest question mark right now is going to be Schvelnik. I'm messing that up. Shelvik.
Uh-huh. Yeah, don't worry. I'm
in
here
the
to
neighborhood.
Help.
I'm in the neighborhood here.
Yes.
So and then Felcher, because it could be that these guys are studs, or it could be that they're duds. We don't know. So I think that's the question mark. Are those two, with Ciani or Steres, regardless of what your feelings are on those two players, you know who they are. We still don't know about the other two. So I think that's the question mark is this could be a home run out of the park, a yellow Van Damme from 2 years ago, or, we could be, covering our face. Cover up the goal. Everyone getting goal.
Well, here's the thing, and you look at it. Shelvik, at least in the minutes we've seen him so far, Eric, has felt like part of the team.
He could be the guy.
Just fine. Mm-hmm. So you look at that and you say you don't want to get too high or too low on him, but he feels like he'll do just fine. I'm not particularly worried about that. Okay. There's in the back of my mind, it's still there. Yeah. But I'm going to say for right now, we're okay there. Okay. That's fine. All right, you go over to Ciani and Steres. I don't know who's going to be the better, and that's probably a little bit of an issue because they're both not great sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know what it is. You're getting your C+. Maybe you with Jorgen. I'm going to call him Jorgen.
Jorgen, yeah.
You could get an A, you could get a D. We don't know, but with Ciani and Steres, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, which will be not great.
Not great, not terrible.
Not terrible, somewhere in the middle.
Just hope that they don't have speedsters up front, whoever we're playing.
So then you get over to Rolf Felcher, and he's the biggest question mark, and I agree with you in sort of that. Although I would say another huge question mark is Ashley Cole for a different reason. All right, but Rolf Felcher there has seemed. Listen, I really like to see the guy's work ethic. He seems like he works hard, he runs hard, all that stuff. The problem is when he runs hard, it doesn't necessarily get him anywhere. He seems like he's not the fleetest of foot. All right. And I like guys who are quick. You don't have to be fast, and there's a difference.
There is a difference.
There's a difference, and I've said it many times. Everybody on this podcast, just turning it off right now. They're like, "How many times does Josh have to say it?"
I know. If you could see me on the video, I exude quickness. I know the difference between quickness and speed.
Yes, you and I both seem like cat-like reflexes, quick people. I understand them immediately. So he doesn't feel like either right now, and that's a little bit of a worry for me. I do think he's smart, and he seems to take the proper and correct angles. But the guy has been playing all over Europe at like 17 million different teams over the years and doesn't necessarily stay there very long.
Okay.
So
that could be a question mark. To me, it's the man bun. That's the questionable choice that I think puts him gives me the question mark.
Here's why it's not a huge issue, at least in my mind, is that Emre Clementa, who came from Sacramento Republic, is his backup on the right side.
There's your depth there.
And so it's sort of like, am I losing that much? If Felcher goes away, I'm probably not. And Clementa may actually be the better long-term guy in this position. Granted, there's tons of people who are yelling and screaming at me that he's a center back, and I'm like, yeah, he can play there, but this is a guy who's going to play right back right now. That's where his spot is.
I think at center back, I think that's where those jobs are taken. So Clementa, he's going to fill in either on the right. I think he could possibly fill in on the left too, because the one thing that we're afraid to say, we probably don't want to speak ill of our captain. He is 37 years old. So I don't think he's going to, play all 34 games and be the stalwart. We're going to need some backup and some depth at that position.
Yeah, and you have Dave Romney over there, which again, you kind of know what you get with Dave Romney.
But he's a center back, Josh.
But actually, he tells me he's a center back all the time. So he's always like,
he's a striker.
I play center back, and I'm like, I think you play left back. I'm gonna let me double check. Yeah, you play left back.
Yeah, let me look at your stats.
Yeah, so I mean, but that is a huge issue whenever you look at it. That everybody across that back line. I feel okay with David Bingham in goal. All right, now there's a huge drop off between him and Silvestri right now.
That is scary. I will give you that.
That's a scary part. So again, I did a show calling it, who's the most important player for the LA Galaxy, right? And I based that importance off of what's the biggest drop off. So who can you really not afford to lose because there's somebody, and it's Ola Kamara and it's David Bingham right now. Those are probably my two biggest,
on both bookends there.
Yeah, which is not a great place to be.
Yeah.
But even saying, Kamara, let's go to that other side of the formation now and go up to striker. We talked about injuries with Ari Lassiter and Bradford Jamieson. Those are the backup depth right now for Ola Kamara. There's lots of ways you can tweak a lineup, by the way, in order to get like Alessandrini up at striker or Giovani dos Santos and put somebody else underneath him.
Lajette up there if he's not fully healthy playing on the wing.
Or Boateng, you could do all these things. You can force somebody into that spot, and that probably means that you have okay depth and coverage overall once you swing that, but you're going to take guys out of their preferred playing positions when you do it. And so that's not a thing that you want to have happen either. So really, the biggest issue for me in terms of depth is still the Galaxy as striker. There is not another one right now, and the drop off is so big. If you lose Kamara, Kamara's going to get a knock or two during the season.
And maybe it's bad luck to say this, but the joke the past few seasons is, well, when the Galaxy gets healthy, I think 2 years ago, that MLS Cup winning team on paper. We thought, well, this team's got it, but they just were never healthy, and they kept getting these knocks and kept getting these injuries. So what's to say that these injuries are not going to happen? So I agree that Kamara, I mentioned earlier, he's kind of our one-trick pony. If he goes down, then the Galaxy should really be concerned. So we just hope that he stays healthy and he contributes, because if he goes down, we do have to go into that Rafa Garcia filling in defense territory. You're going to get Emma Boateng, lone striker, target striker. And we can move things around. And the thing I think we'll see if they're trying today, again, with no live stream, but Chris Pontius, can sometimes play that forward role. He has a knack for goal. So maybe he's a guy you could put up there.
Yeah, it almost feels like in the way that they've been playing him in the preseason is that he is going to be sort of that second guy. Maybe he fills in for Giovani dos Santos at the end of games. Maybe he fills in for the up top striker. Yeah. So you're right. I mean, and I totally glossed over him. He may be just the second string guy off the bench that's going to play that role, and then it's still Bradford and Laster underneath that. So, but the bottom line is that it goes like this pretty quick with Kamara being...
It's a big jump.
Yeah. Kamara to Pontius is a big jump,
Absolutely.
And I think Chris Pontius has been doing a decent enough job in the showing. I mean, here's the thing with the second team that is tough to sort of put together, Eric, is that these guys aren't supposed to play together.
Yeah.
Like the second team is never all supposed to play together. That's not how that works.
Which is my argument why you put the Dos Santoses in there, because at least they'll have someone for the first team to gel with.
Yeah, it's so whenever you watch them and they look disjointed, it's sort of like, well, that's okay.
What did you expect?
Yeah, they're not supposed to play together. So yeah, and the fact that they scored 2 goals in the game against New York City against a 10-man team,
exactly, with a man down.
Yeah,
be careful with that.
It just doesn't work for me at all. So I'm not worried about it, but that's something that again you watch and you sort of have to see. So whenever you're looking at second team performances or anything like this, look at individuals, because you can't look at team stuff very much.
Did you see sparks of something nice from the player that you're looking at?
Like Lajette had a good second half, in the second half in the New York City game, in the 35 minutes he played. That was a good showing by him. That was something that you wanted to see. And granted, he didn't score, but he was involved and active, and you're like, okay, yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, or you look at Kamara, you say, well, first, Alessandrini dinging it off the post, the fact that he created his own shot, put it on target. That's a good thing.
Right.
It's a good thing that you're seeing that. And then, with Ola smacking it in the goal, you say, well, all he had to do was hit it in. But we would have killed for someone to do that last season. So the fact that we have a striker who's going to, kick the air out of the ball as he strikes it, that's nice to see. A guy put it on target.
He didn't miss the wide open goal.
No, he did not.
That was a good thing. Take that as a positive.
Yes, that's a good thing that, the guy who was teed up nailed it.
Yeah, and he slips beforehand. It was a totally lucky play, and that's fine. Yeah. You're going to need some of those. So, hey, get him
But
firing.
He knew what to do in that situation.
That's exactly, that's good. Let's see. I'm trying to see. First of all, I would like to say the chat room is very impressed by the way you dressed.
I took off the tie. I almost wore the tie for the YouTube stream, but I didn't want to one-up you, Josh.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's good. But so so that's sort of where you look at the Galaxy and where all these situations of the weakest and all these things. The Cole issue is still a big issue for me. And I don't think people don't want to talk about it. Because
you don't want to say it. Exactly.
Nobody wants to say it. But you said it well with the fact he's 37 years old. He played a ton of games over the last 2 years too.
And he's been balling out. He's been playing very well. So to go 3 seasons straight at his age and play as well as he's been playing, to expect that same performance is scary.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, if you're Sigi Schmid, you're like, oh, when's it going to happen? Right? But that's how you should be.
And when it happens fast, as we saw with Robbie Keane. So you just hope that, let's just not talk about it
I was
anymore.
I was going to say, you still have to. Now, again, the thing that the Galaxy did this year, and it's tough because you're trying to develop, these mental depth charts in your head. Mm-hmm. And you're saying, well, who goes here if this person goes out? The thing that they did was they got a whole bunch of interchangeable pieces. They're like all Lego pieces. You can stack them and put them on any different way that you want and create a different picture.
We don't have the cube. It's okay. We'll get 2 of the flat ones and put those together.
That works too. But so if Cole goes down, what would happen if Ashley Cole goes down? Well, technically, right now you can move Shelvik over to left back, and you could have Siani and Stairs in center. Mm-hmm. And
we're okay.
Is that a horrible lineup? I mean, that's not a horrible thing. So even whenever we said, that there's weak spots, there are, and you can see them. The only place they're not weak is the midfield because they have about 700 midfielders.
Well, and that was the thing last year. We had stockpiled plenty of midfielders last season, and this year we're in a similar situation. A lot of midfield pieces, guys that you could shift around. Again, going back to today's lineup. We saw Husidic, Dos Santos, legit, and we didn't know where were these guys going to play, and that's a good thing because these guys could play in a number of different positions.
Yeah, they can. They can go all over the place and easily slot into different positions because Husidic is more of a central midfielder, but he's probably playing right back in the formation
with
for
the players
Fresno.
that you saw on the starting lineup. You think, well, Husidic, you always see him in the middle, but given the players that are there, I don't know that I'd put him in the middle in that situation.
The second half of New York City, the Galaxy had a second. Actually, we have a phone call, so let's get to that instead because this is way more fun. Let me see if I can do this correctly. 818, who's this?
Hey, this is Matt, Josh.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for calling in, buddy. What do you got for us?
All right, so 2 questions. One, what's going on with the goalkeeper position? I still don't understand why we gave up John Kempen for a USL pick and then using our newest Galaxy 2 player as a backup to the backup. I mean, why didn't we keep Kempen? We didn't use the trade in the 4th round of the reallocation draft or the reentry draft.
Right.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, and we talked a little bit about this, Matt, is the fact that it looked like Sigi Schmid had it with all 3 goalkeepers. So you had Diop sent off, you had Kempen sent off, and you had Rowe sent off. Kempen may have seemed like the best of those 3. The statistics would tell you it's Brian Rowe was the best of those 3. So regardless of, you probably got rid of a piece that maybe you shouldn't have, but it didn't seem like Sigi was willing to re-up any of those guys.
It seemed like it was an emotional decision, given how many goals they gave up, that was the reason that they just said, you know what, we're going to start from scratch. But I agree with you 100% that if there was a guy they were going to keep around, it probably would have been Kempen because he was a guy who you could tell wanted to be in LA. He was an effort guy. He seemed like he wanted to fight for a spot. So why not, even if you're going to bring Bingham in or if they brought someone else in, he's a guy that could fight for a number 1 spot. So why not keep him? So you're 100% in thinking we should have probably kept him. But I totally see what you're saying. Sigi just wanted to clean house.
Yeah, Matt, the other thing that you have to understand is anytime you see those trades, like the Galaxy did not renew the options on all 3 of those goalkeepers like immediately after the season was done. So those trades, I think MLS mandates that something has to be traded instead of guys just being basically released.
Take a case of water bottles.
Yeah. So they knew that pick was useless whenever they got it. So it wasn't like they were trying to use it. They were just simply offloading Kempen.
Okay. And then with the Felcher argument, are we not pursuing a more seasoned backup in the right back position because we're anticipating that Van Aanholt will be back? I mean, I can't imagine if we go down, we'll have the depth we need until June or July when he's healed.
Yeah, Van Aanholt's not on the roster. He's more than likely not coming back. It's just a matter of probably contract deals more than anything. The Galaxy didn't want to exercise a contract where the guy wouldn't be ready for the beginning of the season. You have, technically, there's a bunch of guys who can play over at that right back spot. So, again, there's guys that maybe it's not their perfect position, Matt, but it is guys who can play that. Clementa seems like he's going to be a really good backup. I'm actually really high on him, so he may end up being a starter by the end of the season. So, And that may be regardless of sort of how Sigi Schmid and how Rolf Feltscher sort of do, or if he's injured or anything like that. So that's one thing. They're talking about possibly playing Hugo Ariano out there as well. So there's guys who can play in that position, and I think even there's some talk of Hilliard Arce possibly going out to that, even though he's a center back. They have another guy I think they drafted who can play in that position. Nate Schultz, I think, is his name for the draft pick, who also came out of Stanford in their 3-time national championship team. So there are guys there. Now, whether or not they're not pursuing anybody that I know of at the right back.
I don't think they're pursuing anyone. I think they are hoping that Feltscher is the guy, and they'll probably slot Romney in there. Hilliard Arce looks like he's an athlete, so you could probably shift him anywhere. He even seems like the type of guy you could slot in defensive midfield, even though I know that's not his position, but he seems like the type of player that is versatile in that way. So yeah, I don't think they're pursuing anyone else. They're just hoping these moves pan out.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario, you might even be able to slot Shelvik over there and sort of do the wrong foot side of things with the left back. So they do have options, but I mean, you heard us talk about it. That seems like it's a spot that is a question mark. And so whether or not Clemente comes up and takes that spot, or whether the Galaxy have to shift a whole bunch of things, the bottom line is they're in better shape than they were last season, where they started the season without a right back.
Yeah, they have an option there. Yeah. So it may not pan out. We may be better off if we got the best center back in the world, but I don't think he's walking through the door. Yeah. That's not where the Galaxy is going to pursue. If they're going to make an addition, it's not going to be at right back. So we have the guys that we have, and we have backup options, which is nice.
All right, Matt, anything else?
Can I ask an off-the-cuff question?
Off the cuff, go for it.
The allocation order, do you think we'll save that for after the World Cup to see if there's any promising talent to reinforce, or do you think we don't need to move on that at this point and maybe trade it for Gam, Tam, or Jam?
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
Drink if you heard Jam, Tam, or Jam.
That's right. That's
what I do at home when I play the home game.
You didn't tell me about it. You just drink alone, don't you? I understand. Okay, so the allocation order, the Galaxy should technically have the first allocation order because I think Orlando traded with Dallas, and Orlando's going to use it. If they haven't used it, they were going to use it. So the Galaxy sit either first or second. That is a good tradable option if the Galaxy think that they can get something or they need something. Maybe they need targeted allocation money for the summer to bring in somebody, and so they could trade that.
Looking for a house, maybe.
Yeah, maybe somebody who's looking for a house in Los Angeles. I don't know, things like that. So you could. It's a good position to be in for the Galaxy. The thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to sit on it the whole season. It goes away at the end of the season. Yeah. So if you're going to make something, the longest you want to hold it is probably into that summer transfer window, and you do something with it at that point.
And you bring up a great point because the World Cup is going to be a showcase, and you're going to have these countries who there's always your surprises, your Icelands, your New Zealand. So maybe someone from these smaller countries, impresses, and maybe that's someone who we can, a realistic option for us.
All right, Matt. Are we good?
Yep, thanks. See you on Saturday at the open house.
Awesome. I like to hear that. Ooh, that was good. We have one person coming, Eric. That is a good news for me. All right. No, I mean, all those were good questions. And when you look at it, again, it's like trying to do a Rubik's Cube with some of this stuff and the sides don't all have to match. No. So there's like millions of combinations that you can do for it.
It's when you start peeling the stickers off and shifting them to the other side here.
Yeah, the Galaxy were smart in how they went about things this offseason, and I feel like they got, for the most part, now Sigi says that he overpaid for Kitchen. That's what he says. But he said it before the Kamara deal, so I had a feeling it was a little bit of negotiating power. Okay, that he overpaid for Kitchen and overpaid for Bingham. Okay, so they thought they were going to get him for a price, and they paid too much.
Okay,
sure, whatever, Sigi. Again, all before Kamara.
It's just money, guys. Just money.
All before Kamara comes on. So you look at that and you say, okay, they've made smart moves. So now, how can you leverage that allocation spot? And that's what it's going to be about. Maybe there's an American player that they want to bring in that's going to be available, because that's what it's for. It's for the allocation order. And people send me names all the time. The Galaxy should get this guy with the allocation. I'm like, sure, whatever. That means nothing until there's interest from the team in order to want to do it.
All right, then excuse me if I didn't fully understand
how
it all works.
Yeah,
here.
That's right. Figure it out. I don't know how half this stuff works either. I try really hard. I get yelled at all the time, by the way. So that's a fun thing. So that's where it sits with the Galaxy. Again, there's the Fresno game is going on right now up in Santa Barbara.
Galaxy is up 4-0.
Yeah. Oh. Play-by-play, another goal. I'm seeing let's see, no updates. Game on. So 7 minutes ago, just 7 minutes ago, it was game on in Santa Barbara.
All right.
So I thought the game was supposed to start at 7:30, and it's a 7:53. So we're gonna get.
It's wine country. They take their time over there.
It's on wine time. I can understand that. So that's how it goes with with the Galaxy. That the Fresno game is going to be telling. We'll watch the minutes. We don't have that information as we're recording right now, so that's not going to happen. But we'll sort of be able to tell what that is for Saturday. And Saturday is going to be the big sort of question mark about who you think the starting lineup is and how long those starters go. Again, depending on what happens in Santa Barbara with the Fresno game, it could be a whole different lineup. I mean, you could still see Jonathan Dos Santos and Gio play in the second half for 30 minutes. Yeah. Don't know.
Or if, depending on if they came off early, you might see them start again. Yeah, so who knows?
No idea. No idea. I would love to say that I have insider information. Guess what?
That's why I came here, John, and I couldn't get the insider information out of you.
It is the preseason, and I know nothing in the preseason. One, you have a new coach. This is where it sort of goes. If you're trying to handicap any of this or try to figure this out, you have a new coach who didn't do anything in the second half of last season because he didn't have the players that he wanted, so he got rid of all the players.
He didn't have his cupboard filled.
So any patterns that he will develop have not developed yet. So we don't know who he likes, who he favors, what the starting lineups are probably going to be. What's the full strength starting lineup in terms of how many players are you going to get on this, and where are they going to fit in, and what should you expect every single time? We already know that Sebastian Lletget is going to be one of the guys who is probably a starter
at some point.
3 or 4 weeks into the season, probably, right? He's probably the starter and Boateng goes to the bench, but that's not how it's going to line up to begin with. And how does Sigi use Boateng? Yep. Where's he going to put him in? He's going to pull the Jet. Who are the normal subs? All that stuff is totally unknown right now. Is it
possible that Boateng, makes it hard on him? If Boateng plays really well and as much as people were happy with his play last season, maybe they say, hey, let's keep Boateng in there, and maybe that changes the formation.
Yeah, it very well could. So, it's all interesting, all up in the air. So anytime you see any of these games, look for Sigi's tendencies of how he does things. Granted, they're preseason, so you're probably not going to figure out a whole bunch of stuff.
You're not going to see a lot with subbing patterns when they're subbing.
That's right.
10 guys at a time,
That's right. All right, let's go now to a little bit of housekeeping for us here at the podcast. I will remind everybody right now that in just 6 days, and you're completely out of time with this, but the Corner of the Galaxy 2018 CoG logo shirts are still available for sale. Bonfire.com, if you type in CoG or 2018 CoG logo shirt, it'll take you right there. Or you can go on our website and find the article with it and click it there. You can find links in podcasts or anything like that. $20 gets you this exclusive 2018 CoG logo shirt, which has 5 stars on it, by the way.
I was going to say, you got to mention the 5 stars.
5 stars, because
you won't find that anywhere else.
You deserve 5 stars. All right? Not us. Not us.
I like the sales pitch.
Yes,
you need the shirt. Get the 5 stars because you deserve it.
Because you deserve it. 5 different colors. Nice. I ordered a pink one and a navy blue one because the pink is, I think it's the hottest color out there. Nice. There's a black one, a pink, a white, and a navy blue, and a regular lighter gray. Nice. So that's it. So $20 gets you the CoG shirts. Again, only 6 days left in that, and I don't usually open these campaigns back up, so don't expect that you're going to be able to buy it 6 days from now.
And if you call now, you get a second shirt for free.
No, that's not. And don't call me. And don't call me, because you have to order it. I don't even print these. It's a thing. But you do get a pocket fisherman from Ron Popeil. That is probably dating myself. Very well. Somebody got that joke somewhere.
Yeah,
the food dehydrator, maybe. I don't know.
Ron Popeil.
Yeah. Ronco. It was good stuff. That's late night television before there was Netflix.
That's infomercial special right
there. That is absolutely great. All right. So the other thing, of course, that we want to get to is that the Corner of the Galaxy open house. Now, I'm sure some of you are listening to this podcast, and it is already past Saturday. Well, you missed it. All right,
you missed a chance to see Matt. Matt's here.
You missed your chance. It was all going to happen. So we were going to have a good time. Everybody's going to come out, but you missed it. So for those of you who are listening before Saturday, on Saturday, February 17th, before the LA Galaxy play against the San Jose Earthquakes on at 2 p.m. at the Orange County Great Park, you can come right here to Corner of the Galaxy Studios. All the information is up on our website. You can find it 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Cosmo's coming.
That's worth admission. I wouldn't even go to the Galaxy game. Just stay here.
Just
hang out with Cosmo. Eat some tacos.
He is going to the game, so he will have to leave. So Cosmo is coming. Should be arriving, I think, around 9:45 for Cosmo, just in case you were planning out your day. The Galaxy Star Squad is also going to be here. So members of the Galaxy Star Squad will be here. You can meet the CoG team. Currently, I have coming from the Corner of the Galaxy team, I have myself. I will be here. You will have Mr. Kevin Baxter of the LA Times who will be here. Wendy Thomas should be here. Jared Dubois possibly be here as well. Larry Morgan, not on Twitter. My favorite Larry Morgan will also be stopping by, so you probably get to say hi to him.
All your favorite characters.
All your favorite COG characters are right here for you. What we have for you, and this is the exciting part, I'm going to be honest. If there's anything that we need to talk about, it's this. What we have for you is a raffle. We're going to do a raffle. The proceeds of that raffle will go towards the LA Galaxy Foundation. I'm not keeping any of that money. That's fine. But what you will see is, if you're watching the live stream or you're watching on YouTube, is this wonderful 2015 signed LA Galaxy. Yeah, you're allowed to touch it. Signed LA Galaxy jersey. They didn't have the 2018s and they ran out of the 2016s and 2017s. So I think this is 2015.
It is authentic.
It is
the real star, folks.
It is. That's like $100 kit just to start with. So anyway, it is there. It is signed, and we'll be raffling that off if you come here.
If you're on the live stream, your bidding starts now. I can run. Again, I mentioned quickness earlier. I might make a run for it here.
So yeah, exactly. It's a good idea. I like that. And I'll tackle you because that's
you're the defender, right?
Yeah,
cleats up.
That's right. So anyway, so that is the plan right now. Again, it is an open house, so you can come anywhere between there. We should have a special Q&A with Corner of the Galaxy hosts that we're going to do, and also possibly have a special guest. Possibly, I'm not even going to put this person's name out there because we'll see.
All right. Zlatan will be here, guys.
Zlatan.
I can confirm. I saw
he was house hunting in Irvine. He will slip right over. He's a big fan of the Irvine, Northwood, Westwood areas. So there you go. So that's how it goes. So all that stuff will be happening here at Corner of the Galaxy Studios starting at 9 a.m. Some snacks will be provided. I will not be.
Will there be punch and pie?
No, let's see. I think what we've decided is possibly some bagels, some orange juice.
It is 9:45.
It is 9:45. You know, and then eventually it gets to day. So we'll also have some sodas here as well. Nice. We're gonna go. My wife and I are going to the store to buy some stuff, and we'll get that all set up for everybody.
Awesome.
All right. So that's sort of the plan. Really, we just want you to come by and say hi. You can come into the studio. You can take pictures. You can sign autographs. I mean, you can sign autographs for me.
Autographs for Josh.
Yeah, that's a better idea than anything else. There is a very good possibility, and I'll say it this way, that we will have our Corner of the Galaxy scarves the very first time in person. If literally they will be arriving, this is Thursday night, February 15th. They are supposed to arrive tomorrow on Friday, and I have my fingers crossed because I will believe it when I see it, and when they're here. So when they're here, you can come on in and do the whole thing. And by the way, I got an update. Fresno is winning 1-0 already.
Of course.
So there you go.
Of course.
There you go. Galaxy have more than enough talent to beat this team. They're going to lose.
Yeah, well, you get a hungry USL side.
That's
I'm
right.
not surprised.
That's right. Again, this podcast will be old the moment we hit the stop button. So that'll be nice as well. So, but anyway, COG scarves are here. So $25, not cash only. I should be able to accept credit cards as well. I have a Square account.
Fancy.
I am a fancy person. $25, but if you have cash and exact change, that would be awesome too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can bring that. Also, cash for raffle tickets or anything like that. Raffle tickets are going to be $1 each. We'll do a price break.
You mean you could walk out of here with that jersey for
$1?
Wow.
For $1, you could walk away with that.
Or you, again, if you're on the live stream, tell me what you'll pay me now. I could run out of here with this thing.
You could make it happen. You know, $50 sounds good right now.
Yeah,
right?
I'll take that.
All
it's
right.
a win.
So that's where you have it. The LA Galaxy playing on Saturday, February 17th against the San Jose Earthquakes. That will be an interesting game at a small venue.
It will tell us something.
Maybe. I don't know.
Not.
Is the Fresno game going to tell me something? I have no idea anymore.
I'm trying to spin it here. I'm stretching.
I don't like the preseason anymore. I'm done with it because it's too hard to predict things and figure out where guys are going to be and starting lineups and what it means.
Yeah.
When you start playing games and there's goals scored, I know what it means. You lost.
Once you start getting points and
You won. You lost. You scored a goal. You didn't score a goal. You missed a sitter. I can evaluate all those. But whenever you get into the beginning of the season, it's there's rust. There's so many excuses in the beginning of the season. All right. Anything else that you want to get to? Are you good?
I'm good. You want me to?
Yeah. Why don't you tell people?
Plugs?
Tell people where they can find you, please.
So you could find me at GIS Hammer on Twitter, and then you could listen to me on the Guys in Shorts Sports Los Angeles podcast. We release once a week. We cover all LA sports. We just finished our 101st episode where we had a nice little NBA All-Star weekend update, and then next week we hopefully will be getting a special guest, so you'll want to listen for that. Ooh. So yeah, if you're into LA sports radio, we might be able to get someone. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed for our next episode. So Guys in Shorts LA is where you could find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram at Guys in Shorts Sports, and you can also follow us on our sister shows, the Kings Realm Pod, which is at Kings Realm Pod, which covers your Los Angeles Kings, your hockey show, and then our coming soon Guys in Shorts FC, which is at GIS Soccer Show on Twitter. We'll be bringing you your Los Angeles soccer news.
That sounds like I'm going to be competing with you guys.
That's not really.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just me.
It's not much. No, you guys do a great job.
You have nothing to worry about.
Do a great job. I always have a great time recording with you guys, so thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, if you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at JGuesman, JGUESMAN, and of course, head on over to at Galaxy Podcast as well. That's where you can follow us on Twitter, and then please head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com, where you can find all of our show, all of the information on our shows, our news, our reporting, all that fun stuff that is there for you is right there, cornerofthegalaxy.com, trying to keep you updated on your LA Galaxy. All right, that does it for me. For Eric Vieira, I'm Josh Guesman. You've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Hopefully, we'll see everybody on Saturday, and if not, have a great, wonderful weekend and enjoy the LA Galaxy game.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast, and be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.